Hello, I'm Dr. Jeffrey Kile.
And I'm Dr. Reymunde.
So today, let's talk about the flu and the flu season.
Right. The flu season has been very, very bad this 2017-2018 season. Lots of kids getting sick, lots of adults getting sick.
Do we need to be worried about it?
So, yes and no. I treat the flu just like I would treat any viral infection. Like I said, it's due to a virus, and like I said, this season has been pretty bad. But most of all, the best way to treat it is to prevent it. We want to make sure we don't get the flu. Number one thing, hand washing, hand sanitizer, getting your vaccine ahead of time. But it's never too late to get the vaccine.
Yes, and a lot of people are wondering this year, should I even get the vaccine? And the answer is always resoundingly yes. Because there's a lot being said that if you get the flu vaccine, even if it's not protective, 100%, that if you get the vaccine and you get the flu, you still have the less chance of getting pneumonia, less chance of getting hospitalized,
right,
and less chance of dying from the flu. So really, it's the bbest science has to offer to help protect our children and our population in general. And the CDC recommends that everyone gets the flu vaccine.
That's right.
Because the case will be milder too if you have the vaccine and you get the flu. So there's still pros to getting it done.
There's definitely pros. And people get really hung up about the numbers. They're saying that the actual flu vaccine is about 20 to 30% protective. But still, that's better than 0%. Like I would take 5% even. If it helps my kids have a milder case of the flu.
Right.
And let's say you do get the flu. Like I mentioned earlier, you treat it like any other viral infection. You want to make sure you stay hydrated. You want to make sure you stay home. If you're tolerating liquids, if you're eating well, and if you're not having any difficulty breathing, I would probably stay home, avoid the ER, avoid the doctor's office.
And those are the things really that you have to watch for. So a lot of times we get questions on when should I come into the doctor if I have concerns over the flu? Because as you outlined, the flu could be just like any other viral illness. You get a fever, cough, sore throat, body aches. But where it becomes a problem is that if you're noticing difficulty breathing in your child, if it seems like he's just laying around and if you're giving Tylenol or Motrin, they're just not pepping up and looks like they're getting better responding to that, or if they're not eating or drinking, or it looks like they're breathing heavy. Those are all concerns that you need to bring to your pediatrician and be seen about. But on the flip side, if your child has a fever, sore throat, some body aches, and you give them some Tylenol and Motrin, and it seems like they prep up and they're drinking and they're interactive, you can watch that at home.
I think so too. I think that's a good point. And also be aware that it's not just the flu going around. There's also a lot of strep throat and ear infections and things like that. So just because your child may have a fever and is feeling a little sick, it may not merit Tamiflu.
Correct. And that's the big concern too, is when do you give Tamiflu?
When do you give Tamiflu? So Tamiflu is a great drug in certain circumstances. It's not always necessary. It's a drug that basically shortens the duration of the illness by about 17 hours to 24 hours. In some children, it can make the symptoms a little bit better, but it's not terribly effective in that aspect. I usually prescribe it mostly in kids that are very, very ill or hospitalized.
Or those with chronic medical conditions, that if they get the flu and it could tip them over into something more serious. So kids with diabetes, asthma, things like that are all children I think that I would prescribe Tamiflu for. And there are some side effects with the medicine too. You could get vomiting, diarrhea,
GI upset,
rare instances of seizures and things. But again, those are rare. But stuff I think we have to be concerned about when we prescribe any sort of medicine, right? Because first do no harm.
First do no harm. So if you do have a viral infection and we think it's the flu, like I said, lots and lots of liquids. There are some home remedies that may be beneficial. There's a lot of talk about elderberry syrup. Taking about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half twice a day may or may not help prevent and treat the flu. Maybe some vitamin C, some warm liquids and things like that, but just supportive treatment.
Correct. And I think if anyone is ever concerned or has questions, we always encourage them to call the office.
Definitely
and
call the office.
talk to one of the professionals here to help guide them on what they should or shouldn't be doing.
Definitely.